The holographic principle tells us something very surprising. It says that our ideas of volume, and in a sense, the world, might be a kind of illusion.
First of all, I would say it should be clear that this whole holographic story is the most radical thing that has happened to our understanding of space, time, matter, since the invention of quantum mechanics and relativity.
Quantum theory in general, and the results of the experiments that have been run in this area, reinforce the holographic principle. Is there any test that we could do to scientifically prove that the universe is a virtual construct and not materialist in nature? Well, you may think that scientists would have run out of ways to do the double slit experiment, but you'd be wrong. The delayed choice quantum eraser experiment was first performed in 1999 by Marlin Scully, Yoon-Ho Kim, and collaborators. Dr. Kim was consulted to ensure the accuracy of this presentation.
Let's get ready to rumble!
This showdown was 2,500 years in the making, and it's for all the marbles, folks. They're playing for the entire universe. It's Plato versus Democritus. Idealism versus materialism. Head to head. Winner takes all.
How the light chooses to display itself as particles or waves is dependent on how much we know about it. If it had to come from just one slit, clump pattern. If it might have come from either slit, interference pattern. There is no materialist explanation for this. Interference pattern. Can the particle predict the future? Or is space-time a virtual construct with all time frames available simultaneously at the source of the simulation? Modern physics has definitely decided for Plato. The smallest units of matter are, in fact, not physical objects in the ordinary sense of the word. They are potential forms. In Plato's sense, abstract ideas which can only be described in the language of mathematics. Space and time are ideas as well, not absolute properties of nature. Science has decided. Materialism is not a valid worldview. Most physicists now accept that particles do not exist as objects in the absence of observation, but exist only as waves, which then form into particles when observed. These waves aren't anything tangible like ocean waves or even radio waves, but simply a probabilistic description of where the particles might be if they were checked on.
Particles are probability distributions, not little hard things. But when you measure them, like measure which slit they go through, you get a particle.
The wave that forms into a particle is only a wave of potentiality. This is what Werner Heisenberg said many years ago. When you look, they appear. When you're not looking, they don't necessarily exist. This situation seems very odd until you compare it to what you see in a computer simulation. A video game gives you the frame that you need when you're looking there. When you navigate around and look at something else, it creates and gives you that frame. Oddly enough, the universe behaves the same way. Our world really does seem to be pixelated, and it only assumes definite form when observed. The very same way computer simulations behave. This is why the simulation hypothesis is now taken seriously by an increasing number of experts.
I personally find that I gravitate more towards the information theoretic point of view and believing that the universe that I exist in is a very good, high-quality simulation.
Some folks have tried to salvage objective reality and materialism by claiming that the quantum realm operates on a separate set of rules that don't apply to the macro world of our daily experience. This idea is called macro-realism. The scientists Leggett and Garg proposed an idea similar to Bell's theorem, known as an inequality, to test whether there is a limit on quantum effects. But in 2011, a team led by Stephanie Simmons and George Nee experimentally demonstrated violations of the Leggett-Garg inequality, and these results have been duplicated many times since then, showing that macro reality emerges from quantum reality, so you can't separate the two. Reality is all emerging from the same source and operates by the same rules at all levels. The double-slit experiment has been successfully performed with larger objects such as atoms, molecules, and even buckyballs, spherical structures made of 60 carbon atoms. Scientists are currently designing experiments to do this with mid-sized proteins and viruses. Non-local entanglement has been recorded between pairs of small diamonds, aluminum chips big enough to be seen with the naked eye. A small metal paddle has even been placed into a state of non-local superposition. As of February 2015, macro-realism has failed every single experimental test. The fact that quantum effects exist at the macro level is what makes quantum computing possible. And quantum computing takes place on a daily basis at Dr. Seth Lloyd's MIT Qubit laboratory. The idea that you can prevent the downfall of materialism by claiming that the macro world is separate from the quantum world simply doesn't work. Reality is all emerging from the same source. So, is the quantum realm different?
No, no different. Only different in your mind. You must unlearn what you have learned.
Okay, fine. So the science says that we may really be living in a simulation. But what does that mean? Am I being kept alive in one of those scary pod things from the Matrix? Is my brain sitting in a jar somewhere with wires hooked up to it? Is someone else in control of my thoughts, feelings, and dreams? Why is all of this so mysterious and difficult to understand? Wouldn't a creator want me to know what's going on? Is the creator afraid to expose their true intentions? Is he hiding from us? Why? Why won't he reveal himself?
Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain.
What if part of your subconscious is still connected to the original consciousness that programmed this virtual reality? After all, we know that our subconscious can create a physical experience for us while we sleep.
Genuine inspiration, right? Now, in a dream, our mind continuously does this. We create and perceive our world simultaneously, and our mind does this so well that we don't even know what's happening.
I don't know a single scientist who would disagree with the statement that the world is exceedingly ingenious. Not just mathematical, not just beautiful, not just elegant, but the manifestation of something truly extraordinary.
Albert Einstein was one of the smartest people who ever lived. In 1 year, he wrote 4 of the most important papers in the history of physics and introduced sweeping changes that ushered in technologies ranging from lasers to the global positioning system. At the end of his life, after spending 28 years searching for a unified field theory built on materialism, Einstein seemed to change his mind about the fundamental nature of the universe.